Hello and welcome to Thrones of Game, the Games of Thrones podcast where we watch the show backwards. I'm BT Calloway, your host. I've watched the show from the beginning. Joining me is Elliot Jay O'Neill, who's only ever watched the show in reverse order. How are you doing, Elliot?
I'm doing
There's no time for that. A fast podcast is a good podcast. Let's get into this. We just watched Season 8, Episode 4, The Last of the Starks. Elliot, what happened?
Alright, so this is another thing like the finale episode, the first episode that I watched, where this feels very aftermathy.
Yeah. This is like all the rubble and all the aftermath, as you said. And what could have happened?
Yeah, so once again, it feels like we got here from another fucking battle.
Yep.
From all I can determine from all the, camera angles on a lot of dead people is that this was a race war. This was a war against all the orange-haired people in Westeros.
Interesting.
I might have missed a bunch of other people that they pulled focus on, but I just noticed that every person they pulled focus on just happened to have orange hair.
Interesting. No, I mean, you're not wrong. Well, actually, no, you are wrong. They pull on Jorah Mormont, who I think is like kind of reddish. They pull on one-eye guy I've forgotten the name of. But then they also draw on...
Oh, because I had a name for that called the Ginger Snap.
Nice. Look at Theon Greyjoy. He's kind of a reddish, hairish. I know, I'm not great with colours.
It's okay. I don't think this show is either. It's fucking washed in really muted colours, I gotta say. Yeah,
it's a very depressing looking, visually depressing. But I suppose, aftermath and all that, they washed it all out. All right. Man. A couple of things I did want to notice. Interesting thing on this is watching it backwards, I'm picking up on so much more stuff. It's really interesting.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of interesting ways of noticing, the foreshadowing. There's a way that you can say that, we're really clever. We see how they led to it there. But it's were you noticing this shit going forwards?
Well, pertaining especially to the last episode where shit just gets wrecked, there's a lot of foreshadowing in this one. They were actually really building to it, which was interesting.
Yeah, at several points, characters say, well, we don't want the city to be burned in ruins now by a dragon, do we?
No, who would possibly want that? Surely that's not going to happen.
You don't want to hear people screaming, especially children.
Yeah, but we've got a great little scene between Jon and Daenerys where she's all like, you have to not tell anyone. It's like, I have to tell someone, I have to tell my sisters. And she's like, he's all, we can find a way to survive. And she's all, we can. I just told you. So, bah, 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 bah. There's a great heavy music cue where they kind of focus on her in the beer hall and everyone's celebrating, but they're kind of ignoring her. It's really effective. Very if you had any suspicion this was going to be the villain, that would be the moment you go, villain.
Yeah, well, this was another interesting thing because, from the last episode, I could have even assumed that Cersei Lannister was actually maybe even innocent, and
she's very sympathetic in the Bells, where you feel like she's lost grip of everything, and it's I think that the way they humanized her in that is really good.
Yeah, but in this one, they really sell her villainy with not much but a couple of cunty stares, and of course, an execution at the end as well.
That certainly helps.
But also, I didn't really have the context for what the fuck Jan Brady was talking about, so I should call her Dan Brady, shouldn't I? Because Daenerys, right?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, okay, done.
Nice. Evolution of the nickname.
Yeah. Dan Brady. I didn't have a lot of context for what the fuck she was talking about, but again, this episode sold it with a lot of cunty stares. So the previous episode where she just sort of spazzed out of nowhere, this one sort of gave me actually a little bit more context for that. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like I said, what's really interesting about watching this backwards, especially there's a great moment where Gendry Baratheon is walking around. She's like, hey, you're the son of the king. And he's like, yeah, illegitimately. It's like, your family kind of murdered mine and kicked us out. And watching it backwards, this is intense as hell. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I know she doesn't, but you would be like, fuck.
Wait, so had I met him yet?
Gendry, no. He stays in Winterfell, and everything from this point on that we've seen so far takes place in King's Landing.
Right, so he didn't appear in the final two episodes.
He's sitting with all those people when they're sitting there listening to Tyrion and they choose Bran as the new king.
Yeah,
he's there, but he's not been featured at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, speaking of Allbran as well, who keeps getting referred to as Bran the Broken,
Yep.
you know, Callusface calls him a twat, and Gendrig himself calls himself a bastard, but no, he gets a cool nickname. He's the fucking Lord of Storm's End. Jesus Christ.
I know, I wrote that down as well. Storm's End is a dope name.
He could have easily been Gendrig the Bastard or Gendrig the Twat, but no, fucking Lord of Storm's End. Pretty badass.
This sounds very much like a good heavy metal band you want to listen to while like driving really fast on the freeway.
We are the Lords of Storm's End! Wow!
Yeah,
Mine's a baritone voice. I can't do power metal.
I'd listen to them.
I can do, like, who's that actor who did, like, weird heavy metal records?
Oh, like, shit, I know who you mean exactly. God damn it.
Christopher Lee?
Christopher Lee, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've come to the land of the Saxon, man. Look it up. It's amazing. Christopher Lee has the, like, coolest life of anyone in history.
Honestly, for Game of Thrones fans, this is probably, like, within the circle of interest as well.
Yeah,
Christopher Lee music and acting career.
Yeah, and especially pre-career, because he was like a Secret Service agent in World War One, or World War One and Two, I think. There's no true story. Apparently, when they're recording, when they're filming Lord of the Rings, they have this scene where some guy gets stabbed in the back, and Christopher Lee walks up to Peter Jackson, the director, and goes, "You know the sound he makes when he gets stabbed? That's not the sound a man makes when you stab him in the back. I know." It's like, okay. Yeah, he was a badass, and then became an actor, and then released a heavy metal album because, you know, he's just awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, amazing life.
So metal.
Oh, man. So good. And he was Dracula, and just so many other things. Yeah. Seriously, he was also Dracula. Let's see. Okay, what was like an iconic moment that stood out to you?
I think this episode was going for iconic moments, and especially with the dragon's death, which, unfortunately, yeah, for me, lacked the impact by virtue of just watching
I figured you were like,
backwards.
well, there are two dragons, and there's not after this.
Yeah. So, yeah, I felt like the dragon's death was a little unceremonious, and I was...
Welcome to Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Unceremonious death.
I mean, getting it shot out of the sky, it just sort of lacked impact. And even, like, when it hit the water, I thought there might be, like, it'd send a giant wake for the boats, you know?
Yeah, I'm also going to partially blame that on Foxtel, because their compression on this episode really cut some of the sound out. Like, there was definitely, when I listened to it, before previously on through headphones and something with a smaller screen, it was a much bigger sound, and through this it was just, and there was also some lag at the beginning, and it's like, god damn it, Foxtel, get your shit together.
Yeah, I'll give some leeway as well to my TV at the Sonic, which it does have bad tracking with streaming stuff.
All right, you get enough light this time, Foxtel.
But no, I still think it looked like a burnt file. We may as well have acquired it through some sort of bay.
Perhaps.
So, and the boat battle as well, I thought it looked terrible. Like, I thought some of the breakaway moments looked so fake.
Yeah, I actually only noticed that on this watch as well. Maybe the higher resolution screen, again, compared to my laptop. But yeah, it looked like styrofoam breaking in points rather than having that impact. And I also kind of want to blame that on the sound, because if there's the sound of a big crack, then you're going to buy it a lot more. Yeah. But maybe that's us.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I've only got a cheap soundbar as well to go with my cheap TV, but, like...
I've never really had complaints before.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Like, and, I mean, albeit it's still a television show, it's not a movie, it's the length of a movie, but it's still a television show, but...
It's also got, like, the most budget behind it and everything else. They threw a lot behind Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Except for episode numbers. Blah.
So, yeah, look, as far as iconic moments... I felt like this episode was going for, like, those big set pieces but weren't quite landing them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the execution I thought sort of lacked impact, and maybe it was just trying to be tasteful with the blurriness and whatever, but...
Fuck tasteful. We're not here for tasteful. My personal moment, there's a few within this one, but I'm going to focus on one. Sansa in this episode kind of rocks. She just has that really good kind of standoff with Dan Brady in the war room, where they're not really saying fuck you, but they're saying fuck you with the subtext. I like that.
Yeah.
Also, Tormund Giantsbane also rocks in this. He's the beardy redhead dude who just has all the good jokes.
I wrote him down as everybody's uncle. he
Yeah,
seems very uncle-y.
Yeah, everybody's uncle who never got married, then moved to Las Vegas and comes back every now with some amazingly cool stories. Yeah, that's exactly who he is.
And then gets way too drunk and then go, which one of you shit my pants?
I love that. He has the best
Yeah.
lines in this.
No, I absolutely loved it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was great. So what'd you say, Genji? What's her name?
Sansa.
Sansa. Is that was fucking Jean Grey, right?
What? Yeah. Soon to be Jean Grey.
Yeah. Well,
Sophie Turner. Yeah.
yeah. Was in that last
yeah.
shitty X-Men movie. And
Yeah,
will be again in the next.
I am not optimistic for the Dark Phoenix.
Oh God, no.
Like, it's a good plot line and they've got a good cast, but they've rushed into this so heavily.
Oh yeah, like I was so fucking stoked on First Class and Days of Future Past. I just don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
So she's Jean Grey for me now. Okay, cool.
No, fair. Jean Grey. That's what she is. Nickname locked in. I have a new question here as well. MVP, either a acting moment or a character moment that you was like, yeah, that sold me. Because I'll go first if you like. I'm going to give it to Brienne of Tarth, the tall blonde woman who has her heart broken by Jaime Lannister, and oh my God, it hurts.
Oh, man, can she ugly cry or what?
Oh,
Fuck.
but even then, before when they're having the drinking game, and she was all, I don't drink, and then later on she's getting into it and having fun. I was like, nicely done, actress. You are good at this. I hope we see you in more stuff. I don't know your name.
So what was her character's name again?
Brienne of Tarth.
Brienne of Tarth. All right. I wrote her down as Tilda Swanson because she kind of has like the eyebrowless look of Tilda Swinton,
that's beautiful.
but she's got like the toughness of a Swanson.
No, 100%. That's beautiful, man. Nicely done.
Thank you. Again, I'm just I'm joyous to give you context for every time I burst out laughing in this episode.
Hey, there are a few, especially one when Euron Greyjoy, Cecil Lannister is all like, and we'll bring our son to the child into the future, and Euron Greyjoy gives the Maester this look. Now, for me, who has context, I know the Maester is like a medical professional who's confirming that yes, she's pregnant, but you were just like,
oh,
but no, for you it was just this moment of, nice one, bro. Yeah, bro.
Exactly.
I wrote down Euron Greyjoy fist bump.
Yeah, I wrote it down as, that's Cersei's wingman, obviously. Because I thought, because, again, I didn't know had already happened, but it's like, you're gonna fuck. So I thought this was like a promise to have a child together.
No.
With the dude that looked like Kano from the latest Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah, he's kind of a fun but also terrible villain.
So he was the one that was having the fight with Jaime before.
Yeah, he's the one who gets shanked on the beach, and there's like, I'm the man who killed Jaime fucking Lannister.
Yeah. Before as in after.
Yeah, before as in after. Get used to it, audience. All right, next question, nudity.
Oh, so sorry.
Sorry.
What was the...
MVP?
MVP. Yeah, fucking Uncle ruled. Peter Dinklage was carrying a lot of this episode. Like, I think my favorite scene out of all of it was the big bar scene at the start. So through that, I mean, MVP of the whole thing, I'm just going to say by default, was Dinklage because he was doing a lot of heavy lifting.
He is, especially this entire last season. So well done, Dinklebot. And
I just love the way he says any word that, rhymes with stone or don't or has that O sound. He goes stone or don't.
A very, very kind of over-British enunciation.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Anyway.
Well, I'm going to see if he does that in other things now. My next question, nudity.
Oh, man, we were so close to seeing female presenting nipples, but we saw male. I mean, which is still somewhat nudity.
Yeah, someone out there was like, yeah, Jaime Lannister, yeah. So, well done, you.
Yeah, look, I'm just happy for Tilda Swanson that she broke her cherry on a Lannister.
Yep. Unfortunately, Tormund Giantsbane didn't get any, but then some other chick is like, why not? And he's like, awesome! Which was just a great scene. And also, just for fans out there, in the background, I'm pretty sure I saw Podrick walking off with 2 women. So once again, Podrick fucks like a champ.
Yeah. I loved how that, the big bar drinking scene and... then you see Arya, because everything's sort of descending into debauchery, people are starting to hook up, but she just wanted to celebrate with some debauchery.
Oh, zing.
Yes. I love an outlet for my dumb puns.
I actually really love that little scene where Gendry's like, I've just been made a lord. Holy shit, I don't know how to do that. Do you want to, yell happily ever after? And she's like, no, sweetie, but thanks.
I am not a lady. Yeah.
It's a good scene, and I think it's well motivated and stuff. So yeah.
Again, didn't have a lot of context for what she was saying, but that scene on horseback with her and Callous Face was kind of nice.
Yeah, I know. They're kind of like, oh, we're doing they were the buddy cop movie where they don't like each other still, but they get along. But damn it, we get results.
Oh, okay.
Almost.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
All right, later on in seasons, there are like what I call just outright buddy cop movies. It's fun. Yeah. Next question. Violence.
Yeah, a little bit. Mentioned, the execution before of the other black person in Westeros.
Miss Andre, yeah.
Yeah. So this was interesting because in the previous podcast, I didn't have context for what's his name?
Who? Grey Worm.
Grey Worm. Yep. I didn't have context
the
for
only
his...
black man in Westeros, yeah.
Yes. I didn't have context for his anger, and I thought his actions were unjustified, and I was disappointed that he didn't get any comeuppance at the end. And so this was it, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Again, they do this very subtly. It's just with a look and a handhold, but you get a lot of information. It's well done. It's a nice little reminder, like, hey, remember this was a thing? Well, shink. Not anymore. Ew. Yep. But most importantly, and I completely forgot this happened, Cecil Lannister is all like, any last words? And she just says Dracarys, which is the dragon command for breathe fire on shit. So she's saying to Daenerys, fuck these people up, yo. And then she does.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, again, there was a lot more building to that than I realized.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much else in terms of violence in this. I guess we do have the ship getting blown to bits with crossbows, which I don't think that's how crossbows work, but whatever. But then I'm like, hang on, do we even seen cannons in this show before? So I don't think we have. So fair enough, they would have gotten completely blindsided by something like that.
Yeah, I found that the crossbow scene as well just sort of poorly directed, maybe poorly planned out. Like, yeah,
the geography of that was not clear. I was thinking that watching this through as well again.
And also there just should have been like I don't know if it's a dumb me pointing it out, but there should have been a captain telling everybody to reload and point at things. Like, I thought, the captain of those ships should have been giving directions. And
also,
why was Daenerys fucking heading straight into it with the anyway?
Yeah, well, I mean, the kind of problem here is 3 shots take a dragon down, and they're the only 3 shots. And then later on, an entire, wall full of these, what are called scorpion crossbows, cannot, hit one. And if the implication was the first volley just blindsided them, and they didn't see it coming, but they were actually pretty ineffective, that would be fine.
Yeah.
But the fact that 3 shots and 3 hits, if it had been a full volley of these things that blindsided them, and then they were just never that effective again because they never got the element of surprise, that would have made more sense.
But that's sort of what I meant about the dragon's death feeling a little unceremonious, is that this is a big fucking dragon, and the other dragon had a fucking hole in its wing.
That was the one with the hole in its wing, I'm pretty sure.
Well, he should have been made of tougher stuff. I don't know.
Toughen up, dragons, you little fucking snowflakes. Oh, man. All right, well, I'm pretty close to out of notes here. A couple of things I do want to throw to. So during the whole burning funeral pyre thing, Jon says they were the shields that guarded the realms of men. Again, this is a throw to the oath of the Night's Watch and a throw to what Tyrion says to him before he shanks Dany in the heart. Yes. And Gilly is still the worst actor in the show.
Who was that?
That was Sam's de facto wife, the prego girl.
Oh, yeah.
She's not sorry. She's not bad in this one, but even then, she's got one line. It's a pretty weak line.
I was about to say as well, because I pointed out that Sam just didn't look like he belonged in Game of Thrones. Like, he was a different actor who was acting in a Judd Apatow movie who they just
wanted from a different set.
Yeah, fully. And I gotta say, it's like the thing where sometimes your partner kind of looks a bit like you. She similarly looks like she wandered from a different set.
Yeah, could be.
And I was laughing because, when Jon Snow hugs her and he feels the baby bump, and I just wanted her to go, yes, that's right, I ate a whole pot roast.
And then there's a laugh track.
Yeah.
And then, Game of Thrones.
Because, she wandered from a different set. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah. And I think my last note here is they still have L-shaped blankets in Westeros. So when Brienne of Tarth wakes up when Jaime leaves, there's no boobs, which, okay, fine, there's a no nudity clause in her contract, fine, whatever. But it's just funny that, the L-shaped blanket exists even in this universe.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about Bronn. He's cool. Bronn also rocks. He's the guy with the crossbow who's all like, hey, what's better than this castle? This bigger castle? Fuck yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. So, do we see him again? Did we see him again?
He's at the table at the very end when they're all planning how to rebuild the city. He's one of
Thought
the
I
lords.
recognized him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Tyrion lived up to his promise then, I guess.
Yep, he sure did. And apparently Bronn is literally only in the scene because he's a big fan favorite and people wanted to see him.
Huh.
So, allegedly, so I've heard.
Yeah, a very, very delightful cunt.
Indeed.
My nickname for him was David Cross because he mentioned he was a bit mad, a bit cross. He had a crossbow and he was doing like a cross examine. So
yeah.
he was David Cross to me.
David Triple Cross.
Yeah. Crisscross. What was that from? That was some bad
that was
Simpsons, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an okay segment in a Halloween.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Alfred Hitchcock presents.
Yeah, that scene as well ended with a very, from Tyrion to Jaime, a very that went well look as well. I was expecting the laugh track to kick in there too.
Yep. Any other notes?
At the eulogy at the start, Jon Snow was like, "We shall never see that like again." I will. Dan Brady always looks her Sunday best.
Yeah, no. Again, costume designers in the show kick ass. And,
yeah. It's just, does she ever get dirty?
Well, that's my question, because, I mean, in this episode, theoretically, Missandei is the one who's dressing her and braiding her hair. Who does it from the future on, though? So it must have been the same person. It means one of the members of her army is doing all this. It's just a master braider and, like, stylist.
My queen's hair is particularly blonde tonight. And who's doing her peroxide as well? Like,
yeah. I think it's just meant to be Targaryen blood, and that's just what the hair looks like.
But she doesn't even get, like, bugs on her face from flying around on the dragons.
That
or
would be
anything.
really funny. She's flying up. Ow. Ow.
Yeah, so that's going to be a point of annoyance for me going forward. There's two things I've learnt from this episode. Cocks equal important.
Yep.
And vomit equals celebrating.
Yeah, that was, again, more great Tormund lines.
Yeah. This episode was filled with a lot more jovial swearing than the last couple of episodes as well.
Yeah, well, the other ones were all serious, and this is all, ha, cock, cunt.
Cock, vomiting, conk, cunt, fuck.
That was the other bit of foreshadow that, Tormund Giantsbane is like, we're going back up to the north. I wish you could come with me, Jon Snow. And then later on he does, like, right.
Yeah.
I missed that as well.
So when Jaime and I want to get her name right at least, not just calling her Tilda Swanson all the time.
Why? It's funny.
Yeah, true. When she goes, when I leave a room, I put more wood on the fire, and just wrote, yeah, he's going to put more wood on her in a minute. And so, yeah, the Game of Thrones version, it's bloody hot in here, is his version of, now my pants are chafing me. So I didn't realize all the Starks family that are related. So Jean Grey's a Stark, Bran's a Stark, I knew that one. Jon Snow is a Stark?
Sort of, half Stark. You do find out a little bit more of his origins in this one.
Right. Arya's a Stark.
Yep.
So Dan Brady is Jon Snow's aunt?
Yes.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
As revealed in this episode, that's why I'm telling you.
Right. So, all right, theory, she fucked this Ned Stark that I've heard about, and he's Jon Snow's dad, I guess.
That's not how aunts work.
Oh, right. No, I mean, there's just so much incest in this show, it's just hard to tell what's going on,
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Oh, yeah, and then when Barney Rubble, Tyrion Lannister's asking, yeah, Jaime, what's her puss like, I wrote down Barney Broble.
That's interesting, because when he was talking about Jon Snow's true heritage, I wrote him down as Barney Blabble.
Ah. And in that scene, I was going to write him down as Brony Rubble, but that's a different thing.
That's it. Yeah, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
All right. Final question. How do we get here?
A war. Like, I think there's another war coming. Like, there was such desolation at the start of this episode that, yeah, the next episode is just going to be a battle. That's how it happens.
Well, we'll find out when we go back in time once more. Until then, now our watch has ended.